Starting to the top right, the player who chose this map, who chose Cloud Kingdom as the second map of this best of 3 series, losing the first game to Curious, we have GuMiho. Cloud Kingdom is a really good map. It's these most Zerg players and Terran players. Well, basically everyone so far agrees that they really like this map a lot more than they expected when it first started in the GSL. People were a little bit skeptical, but now most of them say, okay, it's a really, really fair map. It's quite balanced. The top, bottom left, we have
StarCraft Curious.
Our Zerg player, starting for the StarTale team, won the first game on Entombed Valley and is one map away from meeting Hero again.
Yep. And first barracks positioned normally for GuMiho, and a gas taken, so it looks like he does want to play for that late game, or at the very least do a Hellion expand. Curious checks with his drone and also goes ahead and drops his hatch. A hatch first on this map. Checks Watchtower. A lot of people have been proxying on the Watchtower itself recently, so good to check there.
I like how cautious he is here. As you mentioned, this is a map where we sometimes see a double barracks opening, and these spots that have just been scouted by Curious are the standard positions where you would place down a second barracks, so him scouting is really just showing how cautious he is. He knows very well how important it is for him to win this game now, so a very good decision to spend this time, this mining time that he just lost with this drone, just to be on the safe side. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Very true indeed. You know, I'm curious to see, because this is such an interesting map choice. It makes me wonder if we're going to see heavy 2-base aggression out of GuMiho to try to keep his opponent stuck on 2 bases for a really long time while he slowly takes his third, because you can take your third fairly easily as a Terran, but as a Zerg it's pretty tough on this map. So if he continues to put pressure on, the Zerg may never be able to take a third. He might just try to start from out in that way. We could see something like double reactor Hellions, like 2 factory double reactor Hellions or something like that too, but I just don't know. To play a normal game just like we saw last game on this map is such a weird choice, because we saw Curious just outplay GuMiho in the last game, and that's something that, to be GuMiho, you're going to say, you know what, I'm going to play a straight up game against you on a map that's, you know, not even that bad for Zerg, is kind of weird.
I wonder a little bit about the mid-game, and if this might be one of the reasons why GuMiho chose this map, because one of the things that we usually see on Cloud Kingdom is that Zerg players don't rely on Mutalisks as much anymore. So they choose, most of the that I've seen on Cloud Kingdom choose to go Infestor, and if you're facing an Infestor play, the drop play gets really effective, because there are no Mutalisks to chase down the Medivacs. And drop play can be really effective on a Cloud Kingdom, because you can use the high and low ground to your advantage between the main base and the third. At the same time, you can use the left side of the map to prepare a second drop to focus down some drones at the natural. But if Curious decides once again to go for his Muta play, and I actually expect him to do it because he is just so in favor of Muta, Zerglings and Banelings, then suddenly this aspect of the Terran play will completely be negated.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure if this might be what GuMiho is hoping for, that his opponent chooses Infestor instead of Mutalisks.
Well, he wants to go for a third command center right away by the looks of things, and this is a fairly risky choice against any sort of Roach aggression. He may just fall apart, but I don't think we're going to see that Roach aggression, as just now the 2 gases are being taken from Curious. And, you know, like I said earlier, if you get that third base up as a Terran, it's fairly easy to hold. Nice, takes out the 2 more mail. You get a second one. No. But at this position, if he can get a planetary up at his third and hold that for a little bit, he actually has so many different options. He's going to go for tanks right away, just in case of the Roach pressure, which we do see the Roach boarding going down here. I think this time it'll be much more defensive than last game, since comparatively it's so late.
Yeah, it is. We already is at like 43 drones. We won't. What we sometimes see, or what we've seen for a while, is Roach Baneling, but Roach Baneling usually starts when you have 36 harvesters, and then you also just place down the Baneling nest as soon as the first Roaches are in production. We have Speed, which is also a little bit too late. I don't think that he's getting too aggressive here, but he definitely has the option to defend against Hellions and to prepare for a potential push. Spots the third base with the Overlord. The Overlord is going to die. Actually, it does not.
He starts his own third as a reply, and his creep is already really well spread here, and the Overlord will go down, but the Hellions will spot the third. Look at that creep spread though. With that creep spread, he should be able to hold this against a fast third command center, no problem. The tanks are already out, but the Marine count is not built up high enough. He didn't power up barracks because he was getting that command center, so he's not going to have enough Marines to pressure this, I don't think. He may decide to try to do it, but I don't think he will. It's just not going to work.
If you take a third as a Terran on this map, you can defend quite easily with those siege tanks. You're in a very good defensive position, and it's hard as a Zerg player to attack these bases.
Yeah, it's hard to harass the mutas as well, because you can harass the natural and escape from there, but harassing the main or the third base, they're so connected, so well connected, it's hard to balance between them, similar to Entombed Valley, so mutalist harass is not going to be very effective, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, but at the same time, the thing is, the fourth base is something that is really, really important. And as a Zerg, you can push out, you can take the fourth, you can start to get this composition again that we've seen Curious use in the last game, in the late game, with the Corruptors and Brood Lords. And as soon as he's able to use this, it's going to be very hard for GuMiho to deal with. He needs those drops. We've seen amazing drop play, for example, when Puma played against Stefano at Assembly. In the end, it was Stefano who decided the game in his favor, but the drop play by Puma was just insane. And if you are able to use it that well, then you deal a ton of damage. But what is the transition of Curious going to be? Is he going for the Infestor play, or will we see him with the Mutalist, even though the map kind of favors a non-Mutalist style and is rather in favor of an Infestor-heavy army composition?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough choice, as the Lair is finishing up here with double upgrades for Zerlings, +1 Carapace, and +1 Lily weapons. I think it is going to be his best choice. Just depends on when he wants them. He has no Baneling Nest either yet, so only time will tell. He's going to choose very soon. There's Burrow, and there is the Infestation Pit, as we expected.
And do you remember when we casted the last games of Lucky? It's actually really something that I think is very, very smart. And if you have 3 or 4 bases, you suddenly have this huge increase in mineral mining. And you can use them to just defend against drop play. You don't have, as we just said, you don't have the Mutalist, so you can't chase down the Medivacs. But if you have enough resources, then you can just place down a few Spore and Spine Crawlers in your base, at the main base, at the natural, and this helps against the drop play tremendously.
And if you have really good multitasking to do all of that, and also to control your Zerglings, it's not a problem. Speaking of multitasking, look at the creep spread. Spore Crawler's already going up to defend drops, as you were mentioning earlier, because drops are the one thing that you really struggle with if you go for Infestor play. And he's got Baneling Nest on the way, 5 tumors at a time being made here, 6. He is actually spreading his creep in 3 different directions at once.
I love this extra queen that he's using. He has 5 queens at this point, and he is putting them to use.
He really is not giving those queens a break. Pathogen Glands look like they will finish just in time with these Infestors. Burrow is finishing now, and 2-2 upgrades are already on the way for both players. +1 for vehicles is on its way as these Hellions get cleaned up. Hive Tech on the way, as well as Aspire. It looks like he's going to try to get the Broodlords out. Now, this isn't the best map for Broodlords, but with this much creep spread, it's going to be a lot easier to use them, especially with the Infestor count he's already built.
I like Broodlords here very, very much. I've seen too many Zerg players trying to go for a very Ultralisk heavy style. And the thing with Ultralisk, the one challenge that you face, you need to have exactly the right amount of Ultralisk so that they don't clump up, but at the same time you are able to just tank damage with them. So I'm really impressed by his creep spread. This is kind of insane. He's already up to the top left. He has half the map covered in creep at this point, and he still does not stop.
Look at this. Well, Infestor Shark trying to catch a fungal. Oh, he misses it. No, he hits it, in fact. I thought he missed it, but he doesn't get a second one off, and the Zerlings are not able to clean up those Marines.
The high
a lot of medevac energy, though.
Yes, the high ground here in the middle of the map, though. He's delaying this push by so much.
Yep. He cannot really approach the watchtower because it's held, and so the vision is granted, but it's almost impossible for the Terran to move forward here. That Infestor met a very unfortunate end. He's trying to send these Infestor Sharks around, man. And it looks like he very narrowly avoids another scan.
This drop will be spotted so soon by the creep tumors. Greater Spire is being researched, and look at all these Spine Crawls that he's using right now to defend this game.
Spire about a fifth of the way done. Some attacks commence in the center of the map, cleaning up a little bit of that creep. But the Queen goes right back to work the second that the Marines retreat. So like you said, the drop is spotted by the creep. He's going to want to scan and kill that.
Only one tank.
Yep, only one tank, which will be distracted quite heavily by these infested Terrans. He's going to try to repair, but that means a lot of these SCVs will go down.
Survives just with the rest of his SCVs as the Marines come in to save the day. We still have the drop at the bottom of the map, and now the Marines are moving in while there's a second drop going on at the same time, but the spine crawlers are in position. There are also a few roaches that got taken apart, but this second drop is doing a lot more damage as the medivac is able to heal the Marine at the front.
Yep, things looking pretty good here for Curious with this defense, but GuMiho's army is out of control. He's got a very large army. He's got a supply lead right now. The problem is there's so much resource here, can make so many Broodlords. He's got 8 Corruptors on the way, but will he have enough time? The creep certainly is going to buy him a lot of it.
If he can use his Infestors for a few Fungals and delay this push off GuMiho, then suddenly he will have the units that he needs. He will have the Broodlords. And at this point, we don't have anti-air units for GuMiho. Once again, he has just no answer to the Broodlords.
Yep, it's looking really bad if he can get these Broodlords out. More Corruptors popping out now. He's got so many Infestors as well. The Marine heavy composition will not be able to close the distance on the Infestors. And again, GuMiho just cannot advance forward. He's too scared. The creep itself has intimidated him. He's scanned so many times to kill it, but it never goes away because the Queen is always out there. There's so many tumors. He just continues to extend it. He's trying his best to move forward on it again, but the creep is buying him so much time here. Good Fungals, and oh my god.
Oh, he can see him with a missile turret. He should go for the Fungals here. At the same time, the fourth is pressured now by GuMiho. Another Fungal hits one of the Infestors. Dies, and here come the Broodlords now. Will it be enough though?
Oh, the Broodlords look like they will push this back. The creep remains alive. Those Infestors at the top still not really doing anything.
No, they are still in position, still burrowed as far as I can tell on the minimap.
Yep, he hasn't used them yet. Looks like he's missed his opportunity unless he does it now. The army is going to come back. He's very easily going to clean that up, especially because, as you mentioned, there's a turret there. And even though he used to have a supply lead, now he does not. He's losing so many SCVs here.
And look at it, the problem is he doesn't have any Vikings. He's facing 8 Broodlords, and once again the first Corruptors already rebuilt. He will just now max out on Corruptors as soon as he loses supply, and this is exactly what he needs to do. There is no answer. GuMiho doesn't have an answer to this.
He's going to try to circumvent the main Zerg force. There are a lot of spines here to buy time, though. The Zerg army is returning home. Some of it, the Broodlords and the Infestors. The Zerglings have forced a lift on GuMiho's third and final base.
Oh, the Infestors out of position.
Losing a lot of them.
That's the one disadvantage that Curious has with his army. It's very, very slow. That's what GuMiho tries to exploit here and takes down one of the bases of his opponent.
The Zerglings are not strong enough to catch this army on their own. GuMiho looks like he is in a lot of trouble because he's no longer mining, whereas Curious has basically a death ball Zerg army. He can retake his base at any time. He's rebuilding Infestors right now. He's going to try to put a tank there to help, but that's not going to be too useful.
He's getting 4 Vikings at a time, and yeah, let's not forget that both of these players are nearly maxed out.
A lot of Zerg lost here, but that's okay. Wants to remax.
It's better than one huge engagement. Losing some Infestors here to the top.
Yeah, does clean it up though. Oh man, Curious looking so strong here. GuMiho.
Need a quick shot at the unit count. That would be so important right now. How many Infestors do we have? How many? 8. There they are. Corruptors. 11 Corruptors against 4 Vikings.
12 siege tanks out on the map. Siege tanks not going to be that useful because the Infestors are almost expendable at this point with how many there are and how much energy he has to spend. Not the most effective harassment here, but he does damage to SCVs.
The main army is just now on screen while we have another force at the bottom right trying to get into position at the potential third once more. This is going to be rebuilt. It's the base that is currently being rebuilt by Curious.
Yep, he's going to have to cancel it. There it is. Cancels it. Oh, doesn't cancel. And now he's going to lose perhaps some drones. Close call there. But this may be the finishing blow. He's going to have to lift this base, and with that many Corruptors there, he's going to try to catch. That was a scary choice there with the Broodlords kind of unattended. But now the Broodlings alone are tearing through this Terran army.
Indeed, they
but
are.
he's out of position to defend his main base. He's going to lose a lot of tech here.
Look at his
investors.
minerals, though. He has 4,300. He needs to get some drones on the map so that he can rebuild his army. He's going for the base trade.
In the main base, that's the question. If he has infestors in his main, he can just keep funneling anything that tries to walk up the ramp, but I don't think he has any in his main, because the Terran units are already in the main base of Curious here as he sieges up this base, and there are no infestors, a few Banelings being morphed, and they may be able to clean this up, but the Zerglings that want to trap the Marines are out of position.
Did he save drones, though? Is he able to rebuild his bases? He has the minerals, he has the gas. 42 additional Zerglings are being killed now. The first wave already hit. Most of the Banelings already killed by the tanks. Oh,
not good. But look at this. He's actually sieging up the main base now. He's rebuilding hatcheries at the top. A lot of Zerglings going down here, but he's trading fairly well with that army. And with the amount of resources he has, he can continue to make them. Look at this. I think we may be at checkmate, Caldor. GuMiho still has an army, but it's very small. He's not mining either.
The last few remaining chess pieces for GuMiho, not in a position to decide this game. There's still a mining base now for Curious, and GuMiho is losing unit after unit. He might just lose this game, and therefore the series with 2-0. 146 supply against 73, the last stand for GuMiho, but there are way too many Corruptors.
Way too many, indeed. GG, Remax Corruptors just as you predicted. Got that Zerg Deathball, if you will, and Curious 2-0s GuMiho and will advance to the playoff match against Hero, someone who already defeated him 2-0.
And GuMiho losing here with, well, he won one map today.
Yeah.
Not what I expected. And this just shows how it is such a close group. We don't have some of these heavy hitter names that we've seen some of the other groups with this team who are participating, but this group is just so close.
Yep, and against Hero, it was kind of a nail-biter game. It was nail-biter best of 3. We'll see if he can pull it out and beat him this time around, or if Hero will just defeat him again. A good situation for Hero to be playing against Curious and not GuMiho, though.
And Curious gets a second chance here. Curious gets a second chance against Hero, so we have StarTale against Team Liquid. And the first game is going to be on the same map. We have Cloud Kingdom.
Cloud Kingdom will be the starting map, and then it, of course, will be loser's pick. So the first win is so important in this best of 3. And I'm really, really excited to see how this best of 3 is going to go, man. I expect a great series. I expect more Muta play, some more Stargate play from Hero as well. Hero may change things up completely, though. He could go for a 7-gate all-in. He could go for a 4-gate. Who knows?
Curious had time to just think about what happened in the first best of 3. So Curious, that is. He was able to just think about what exactly happened, what he could have done better, what he could have changed. So we will see a completely new game. And don't forget that Hero just lost against Maru, and Hero is a player that is sometimes really affected by these losses. So is he able to just completely put it behind him and now focus on the next game? Just say, okay, I already played this guy. I know how to win. I know that I can do it. But this is going to be so close and so important as well.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I'm so surprised to see GuMiho fall down out of the losers match. You know, in his games today, he looked a little bit shaky, not like the GuMiho we all know. So he is going to be in the round of 48 of Code A, and if he loses that match, he'll be completely out of the GSL. But before we talk more about that, let's just take a 5-minute break. Calm your nerves, maybe get a snack, tell your friends to tune in, because our last best of 3 between Hero and Curious decides who will go into Code S. It should be awesome.
And it will.
The writings on the wall, Rome was bound to fall. That may happen to us all. How ironical. How many souls will it take to pay for our mistakes? How much blood will flow? We may never know. Over and over again. When will man's inhumanity end? For centuries of yesterdays, nothing ever really changes. For a million names and faces, the circle turns and turns into another day of deja re-repeats its pages. 작전 개시.
Reaper. 파싱. Reaper. 파싱. 파싱.